Alright, everybody, I am back on. I am having issues with my computer camera. I don't know what's going on with it, so I have to switch it over to my phone for now. But I can still pull up my slideshows. I just have to switch my camera around to show you guys. So if you hop on, please say something. Let me know you're here. And like I said, I apologize for the mishap. We've not had any issues with our camera until I got ready to go live. Guess that's just the way it rolls. But that's okay. I've got this pulled up so I can see the chat. So, well, I gotta go to flip it. You can set it here because I can flip it. I gotta take my case off. Oh my gosh. Guys, hold on. I had everything prepared. I shared my screen so I could show y'all slideshows, everything. But, what? And I'm having all kinds of issues, guys. Okay, well, that's all right. All right. Yeah, because Michael, I switched over to my phone because I couldn't get my daggone. Hold on, flip this around this way. I couldn't get my daggone computer cam to work for some ungodly reason. So, real quick. Yes, Caroline, come and say hi real quick so that I can get into this. So the case that we're going to kind of dig into tonight, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. This is kind of where I'm going to go. We'll still keep doing our food videos. We'll still keep doing when we go out and do adventures and everything. But I've kind of went down this true crime rabbit hole here. And there's Miss Caroline. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
So, I'm going to tell y'all about the case. It's in Bardstown, Kentucky. Oh, so you're familiar with it, Michael. You're familiar with the case. Okay. So you're kind of going to know what I mean by go down the rabbit hole because it is just so crazy how all of this is just crazily connected. And I'm trying to see my chat because of without flipping off of it. That's right, because you're from that area, right? The Bardstown area? So y'all don't have to sit and look at me. Let me get my slideshow pulled up full screen here. Then I'm going to get y'all turned around, maybe. If I don't break something first. Maybe. Here we go. You get this lower down so it comes down to... Are y'all able to see that? Does it look... I don't know if you can see it or not. Like, I'm telling you, this is just not going the way I had hoped tonight. And actually, I'm going to have to take this off because I think it'd be easier. So, anyway, let's hop on into it. If anybody hopped on, make sure you say hi. Also, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. All the support is much appreciated. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about Crystal Rogers today. Remember that face. She grew up in small town Bardstown. She was 35, mother of 5. She is presumed to be dead, but at this point, as of today, no body has been recovered. And she lived with her boyfriend at the time, Brooks Hawk. I also put the information for the phone number. So if you have any information related to it, that's the number to call. If you share this, please use hashtag Crystal Rogers. I'm kind of covering Crystal, and I'm going to cover Tommy too. And for those who are not familiar, which Michael, I'm sure you are, you'll see why I'm kind of covering both of them together tonight. And we're going to hop into some of the other cases in detail too, but just to be able to keep it at a minimal. So here's kind of our timeline. I don't know how good y'all can see that. It's not the way I had planned. So July the 3rd, 2015, Crystal was last seen by her boyfriend Brooks Hawk. On July the 5th of 2015, her mother Sherry Ballard reported her missing. They did find her car that same day. It had a flat tire. It was it was at mile marker 14 on the Bluegrass Parkway. Her keys, her phone, and her purse were all still in the car. November 19th, 2016, a little over a year later, Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard, he was shot and killed on the family property. He was going to go hunting with his grandson. I haven't really dug much into his because there's not a whole lot out there about him except for it was ruled a hunting accident at first. The grandson called, said that his grandpa had been shot. So let's jump on up because both of these cases are still at this point unsolved. There's some arrests been made, which we'll talk about, but they have not been convicted. July 2020, they found human remains near the Nelson-Washington County line. Rogers' family was notified and were told that they would be sending the remains to Quantico, Virginia for testing. August the 6th, FBI Louisville announced that they would now be the lead agency in the case. They spent days searching the home of the main suspect, which was Brooks Hawk, which was her boyfriend, and then they launched that task force website for her. Hey, I'm trying to keep up with the chat and also go over this case with you guys. What I'll do, I'll figure out a way I can share this information with you guys. Yeah, please share. And if you do share, make sure you hashtag Crystal Rogers. Just let's keep her name out there. So let's go on up to, we left August the 6th where they searched the boyfriend's home. August the 14th, so 8 days later, the FBI identifies a new area, there was a typo, of interest near Poplar Flats Road and Farmaway Drive. FBI kind of asked the residents of Bardstown, can you all even see that screen? If not, I'll just fix it, turn it back around, and just read to you guys. I really wanted to show it to you, but I put a lot of work into putting this together and really had everything together, but it's just not quite going the way I want it. So they asked people of Bardstown, please, try to remember where they were during the early hours of July the 4th. Hoping somebody would know something, remember something, see something, hear something. November the 20th, the FBI made the announcement that those remains that they found back in July were not those of Crystal. So there's still nobody has been found. FBI searched a subdivision in Bardstown. October the 17th, the FBI searched a farm in Bardstown where Crystal was last seen. That address has been released, but it was the farm. That farm was owned by her boyfriend Brooks Hawk. September the 7th, 2023. So here we go. She went missing on somewhere between late July 3rd, early July 4th. Last seen, of course, July 3rd of 2015. Jump to 2023, September of 2023. A man of the name of Joseph Lawson, he was 32 years old. He was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder, tampering with physical evidence. The court has ordered his records to be sealed, so there is no access to even try to pull up those records because they sealed them. 20 days later, on the 27th of September, Brooke Hawk was arrested and charged with the murder of Crystal Rogers. Apparently, there's enough to charge him because at this point there's still no body found. December the 11th, the attorneys claim that Joseph is the one that drove the car, Crystal's car, to the parkway, and then he was picked up by his father, Steve Lawson. Steve Lawson then on December the 28th was arrested, and it was shown that he spoke to Brooks the night after Crystal disappeared. So he's like I said, father to Joseph. He was also indicted on criminal conspiracy to commit murder, tampering with physical evidence. There's a lot to this case. And as y'all will see as I go through this, there's even more to it. Like, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So now we have Steve Lawson, Joseph Lawson, her boyfriend Brooke Hawk. Her father was killed, and Crystal was missing. Is basically missing. I mean, she's been presumed dead, but technically she's still missing. So here's the key people in this case. And I'm not showing you the other side just yet. We got Crystal, her boyfriend Brooks brother Nick Hawk, Steve and Nick Lawson. Then we have Tommy, who is Crystal's dad. And then Jason Ellis, who's a police officer. That is the case that I'm going to dig into a little deeper the next time I go. But let me kind of go over how these are connected. Okay, so Crystal, of course, we know in July went missing. No body's been found. Her father then, a little over a year later, was shot with a rifle. Crystal's boyfriend, who has been arrested and booked into, he is actually currently at the Oldham County, Kentucky jail. How does Nick and Jason play into this? See, they're both wearing uniforms. Jason was killed, and I'll go over all the details of his. He was basically ambushed. Long story short, he was ambushed, he was shot and killed. He and Nick worked the same shift. On the police department. At this point today, Nick has not been charged. Interesting fact is, and I don't know if I have that on my slideshow. No, that's the interview. We'll watch that in a second. So Nick, the rifle that shot Tommy Ballard has met 4 out of the 5 criteria, whatever the criteria is they go by. The rifle, I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera back around until I'm ready. So, Nick Hawk, he sold this rifle, the one that is 4 out of 5 criteria, under a presumed name. I'm not sure what name he used. They haven't really said, but under a different name. That gun was registered to him. That gun is the one that they believe to have killed Tommy Ballard. Not sure yet. Nick has not been charged or arrested. He was suspended, then predominantly fired from the police department. Theory is, or my thinking on this is, I know they haven't really proved anything. What happened to Jason when I dig into his, and that's kind of where I'll connect everything more on the next one I do. But you'll see that some of the things with Jason's case, somebody had to know these details and know his route. They had to know what time he got home, know what time he got off. Well, that leads us to believe that maybe Nick had something to do with this, at least conspired with someone. I don't know. We'll see. And y'all just don't worry about it. Any updates, I'll go do a quick live short and give y'all any updates on that. So right now I'm going to play the video and I'll turn the camera back around for you. Hopefully you can hear it and see it okay. I'm going to play the video of the interview with her boyfriend Brooke Hawks. I've got a couple other links to show you guys, but I want to start with this one. And we'll stop it if we want to talk about anything that we see. So.
Indiana Pathways for Aging.
Yeah, I know. Commercials. Gotta deal with these ads. Everybody wants money. More. And I'll drop these links too. All these links I'll put in the comments for you guys so you can go back and watch them better. Oh, sorry. My finger hit the button.
So you go out there, and then the next time I see you is when you pass Caddy Shack, the little restaurant there on 49. You go past there, and it's about the right amount of time for you to be traveling, you know. And then you get to the farm around, best I can figure out by the time frame on the video, is about 19 minutes after 7. So you're actually there, you know, roughly about 7:20. So, okay. So you get there. By the way, I twisted I guess it would be your aunt's arm. Now, we noticed they had the video cameras, that's why.
Yeah, that's fine, that's good.
So she actually helped you out with the time.
Good.
It showed you coming. Now, I haven't watched the full days yet, so I don't know anything about comings and goings, but I know you got there about 20 minutes after, and you left there about 11:55, thereabouts. So during that time, from reading your statement, you left once and went down almost to Loretta Road and then turned around and came back because you decided the Tractor Supply might be closed, right?
Yes.
So that, you know, a little bit of time there. How long were you at the farm before you went to get feed and then came back, decided that it was too late? Do you remember? Roundabout?
It couldn't have been long.
Because you were going to feed the cows, right?
Yeah, it could have been probably more than, I don't know, maybe 15, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay. I'm just trying to get an idea so when I watch the video, you know, I can kind of look for when you're coming out and then you're going back.
Yes.
And when you got to the farm, do you know if anybody was there
I'm sorry, I hit it again.
other than your mom?
I don't know.
Did you see your mom when you came in?
No, we didn't stop up there. We went straight down there. We were going there to feed the cows.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, but the barn's within eyeshot of the house.
But sometimes she might park inside. Sometimes she might not. So I don't know if.
Right. She got more than one vehicle.
She's got a little red truck, and she's got a white, and then she's got a white SUV. But I can't. That 15 to 20 minutes is as close as I can, and that's a guess, but I'd say it's pretty accurate.
She I think your mom told me she had been mowing grass. Do you know if she was mowing when you got there, or is
She's always outside doing something. She's more of an outside person than inside, but she likes to.
So I just kind of wanted to show y'all just a little bit of that. Like I said, I'll link it in the comments for you guys so y'all can kind of watch it in full. Okay. Like there's a lot of times it seems like he gets kind of defensive when they ask him questions, and then he's has to stop and think. Well, let me see what time he told me I left. Like it's almost like he was trying to figure it out. So points of interest in this case. The boyfriend, Brooke Cox, brother Nick Cox, sold an undercover officer a gun under an ominous name believed to be the gun that killed Tommy Ballard. Rifle did belong to Nick. The testing says it met the 4 out of 5 criteria, and Nick worked the same shift as Jason Ellis, who was killed. So that kind of tells you kind of how everybody is kind of linked together. So let's go back here. So, how is Steve and Nick Lawson tie into all this? Steve Lawson worked for Brooks. That's kind of where he came into play. That's how he knew the family. That's how he knew Brooks Hawks. So then, of course, Nick's his son. So chances are he may have worked with him as well. So I'll talk about the other cases of interest. Like I said, the next one we're going to go into more detail is Jason Ellis. He was killed on May 25th, 2013. We'll tell you that much. I'm going to go into more detail, of course, with that at a later time. Let me get my camera set back up because I don't need the screen again. Give me a second. And I'm having issues. Never mind. I'll just hold it. So what we know now, besides the fact that I'm zoomed way in, sorry. What we know is Crystal went missing. Body is never found, and this thing keeps zooming. I think my thumb keeps hitting it. Crystal's body has never been found. Now, Brooks has been arrested, booked into Oldham County Jail on murder charge. I believe it's murder charges. Steve and Nick Lawson have also been arrested with conspiracy to commit murder. So somebody somewhere has to know more. They have to know. Somebody knows something. Why did, on July the 4th, was it unusual for Crystal to not be home? I mean, he claims that he was with her. Then there was a phone call that they have the recording of, which I'll find, and I'll play those links for you guys too here in a few minutes. There was a phone call asking Brooks about something, and he said he didn't know. He'd have to ask Crystal. His reasoning for saying that reason he didn't ask her, because she was supposedly in the car with him, his reasoning for not asking her right then and there is because it was late. I didn't want to bother her with it. So we'll just do it next time. Or the next day. Whatever. I still think that all those people being connected in one area. I mean, the family still doesn't have answers. I mean, this is almost 10 years later, almost, and they don't have answers. They don't know what happened to their daughter. They know her dad was killed. They do know that for a fact. But they don't have any, there's been no arrests made at all in connection to Tommy Ballard's death. None. I mean, and Michael will tell y'all, anybody that's watching, will tell you guys that Bardstown's a small area. I mean, it's not like, I mean, you're close to Louisville, but you're not in Louisville. Hold on here. Okay, one update. On Monday, December the 18th, 4 children and the mother of Crystal Rogers, they filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Brooks Hawk. He is also the father of her youngest child. He was her boyfriend at the time. And I don't even know the kids' names. I wouldn't even say them if I did. Why? I don't understand why her mother is the one that had to report her missing. Like, why would he not? I mean, his brother was a law enforcement officer. You would think, okay, my God, she's not here. She's not, where is she? My brother works for the law enforcement. Let me call him and get a report filed. I mean, if nothing else, I mean, I would call the actual police department, but I mean, if nothing else, he's got that connection. So, and of course, we do know that Brooks pled not guilty to murder. He said he didn't do it. I didn't kill her. Why would he admit to it? So just a little bit about Tommy here. He'd been hunting on private property. He was 54 at the time, with his 12-year-old grandson, which, was Crystal's oldest child, or oldest son. He'd been shot once in the chest. The grandson's been cleared. I mean, they said the grandson was definitely, and they had also ruled out suicide because Tommy's gun was never fired. Grandson didn't do it. And at first, like I said, the first thing they did do was they claimed it to be a hunting accident. Yeah, he definitely knows who did it. If he didn't do it, he knows who did. His brother knows who did it. They know who. It's one. I kind of have a feel. One of them Lawson people. I mean, Steve Lawson threw his son under the bus. He said that. Well, I didn't know anything about it. He just called me and said that my car broke down. I got a flat tire. Can you come pick me up? He didn't know anything about anybody else. He didn't know whose car it was. He didn't know nothing. So he's already saying, well, I'm not going to get in trouble. I don't care about my son, but I don't care if I get, I'm not going to get in trouble. So there again, I mean, he's probably going to be the first one to talk. He probably knows something. He was on the phone with Brooks the next evening. And her father, from my understanding, her dad, Tommy, is the one that found the car. And the family, from the beginnings, was suspicious. They said that Brooks had some sort of involvement in the disappearance. I mean, they even here, I was just reading, I had some of my notes together. Like I said, I couldn't screen share, so now I gotta read them to you. Crystal's sister said in an interview, he never once offered to search or help or do anything for the family. And then on July the 8th, which was what, 5 days after she was last seen by him, he was brought in by the sheriff's office for questioning. Nick Hawk, Brooks' brother, and a Bardstown police officer called mid-interview and told him to speak with police. The next day, he was called to testify in front of a grand jury, which led police to suspect that he also had involvement in the disappearance. It was at this time that Nick stopped cooperating with the sheriff's office. Brothers just stopped cooperating. Well, you work for him. Why would you, if you're innocent, then you're, look, sorry, brother. I took an oath. If you did something, then it's time to speak up now. But he did agree to a polygraph test, and he did take that on the 20th after being contacted by the FBI. Of course, we know polygraph tests are no longer admissible in court, so why? I don't know if they just do them so they can use them for questioning, I guess. Anyway, the examiner was pretty concerned about the results. He expressed to the police chief that, he was concerned about the results. But he, of course, Nick, the brother, still hasn't been charged with anything. He couldn't even pass the polygraph. So, and a white Buick somehow became an important piece when investigators found out that one was parked at the Hawk farm the night that Crystal disappeared. The Hawk brothers' grandmother owned a white Buick. She had sold it several weeks after Rogers went missing. So you got an 82-year-old woman who's now being dragged into this because her vehicle was at the property, and then a few weeks later she sells the vehicle. Not sure if she did it on her own free will, if the boys were like, come on, you don't need it, you can't drive, let's just sell it. Who knows why. But they think that vehicle was the one that was used to dispose of the body. It was cleaned and sold probably to prevent evidence from being found. Nick worked for the police department. He knew darn well how to get rid of evidence, obviously. So then we go into, it's just just keeps digging you deeper and deeper. You find, every time you read something, you find something else, and something else, and something else. It's like I said, it takes you definitely down a rabbit hole. So on the morning of the 19th of November of 2016, as it was 16 months after Crystal disappeared, that's when her father was shot to death. Once in the chest. I'm not sure. They're not really saying. I've not found anything to show if they interviewed the grandson, if he's seen anybody, or I haven't found anything that has really said. I'm assuming he didn't see anybody because, they probably a wooded area if they were hunting. Would be my guess. But of course, the FBI, it's still an open investigation too. So a lot of information, a lot of evidence is not been released to the public for that very reason. They don't want to tip anybody off. So like I said, there's not a whole lot out there about her father. That's kind of why I threw him in with this one, just because I thought there's not a whole lot. He's definitely her dad, and his murder is definitely connected to this somehow, which I'm sure will all come out eventually. And I said, I'm going to keep updated with this, and I'm going to definitely, I'll do shorts anytime there's an update for this one. So, for real quick, I've got a look back at the interview with Nick Hawk, the brother of Brooks. So, hang on here. I will get y'all turned around. A second here. Let me get it pulled up. And this is from the news page, so it's going to take me a second to get it to load. Yeah, and I'm trying to pull up Michael, I was trying to map it. I'm loading slow here. I was trying to map it out to kind of show everybody how close really all these locations are. So the field definitely, it could be seen from the Bluegrass Parkland. And I know all these, all of these locations are all like really close, like within a mile, I think, or less from each other.
Make a plan today.
He said, here we go.
Last week we told you about the other bombshell dropped during court in the Crystal Rogers case. The special prosecutor said that his team believes her case is connected to the murder of her father, Tommy Ballard, because they say the gun used to kill Ballard was one sold by Nick Houck, the brother of Brooks Houck. Well, tonight, Lee Searcy looks back at police interviews with Nick and how he's been brought up in the cases since the beginning. Lee.
Well, Larry, when I was at the arraignment for Brooks Houck last week, Nick Houck was nowhere to be seen. I asked some of the locals about him, and they told me he's continued to go about his business, working and living in Bardstown, but keeping a low profile. Many wonder for how long. From the start, questions swirled around Nick Houck, still a Bardstown police officer in this July 2015 interrogation. Here he's told he failed a lie detector test.
The questions you're having a problem with are questions about Crystal. And in particular, one about whether or not you know where she is right now.
Despite failing a polygraph, Houck insisted he was telling the truth.
I've been 100% honest with you, and surely God, you can understand with people showing up at my house and my family out there taking cars, the neighbors are watching. Man, it's been screwed up.
He gets more defensive as the investigator presses him.
Is this how you act when you just act this way towards Crystal?
When somebody, is this how I act toward Crystal? I act toward people that accuse me of lying when I'm not lying. That's how I act. No, I didn't know Crystal.
Then why are you getting so angry?
Because you're calling me a liar.
No,
That's
you
why.
call me a liar.
Okay? I don't like it when people call me a liar.
In another interview, Houck says he and Brooks really aren't.
So he said here, he said, "Oh, I didn't even know Crystal." You've got a nephew that how do you not know her? They obviously have a child. His brother and her have a child together. So you're going to tell me you're not a part of your your nephew's life? I don't know.
Last week we told you about the other bomb.
What, did I go too far? I thought there was something else there I wanted to hear.
He's in.
Your sister-in-law, and she's missing. I mean, did your brother just not talk to that extent that, that's kind of bad, isn't it? I mean,
Yet when police interviewed Brooks, it was Houck who called him in the middle of it, telling his brother to protect himself.
Are you telling me that's what I need to do?
For two brothers who aren't that close, investigators said cameras recorded both Nick and Brooks going to the family farm just hours after Brooks' interview.
So we know all that. There's no debate about that. We know that. What we need to know is...
So basically, well, I didn't know Crystal. Me and my brother don't even talk. Okay. That's strange to me. Y'all don't even talk. And of course, that was something the police officers threw in there too. It's, like I said, it's a very interesting case. And then here in a little bit, when I take you all to the slideshow, my last slide, you, you'll see why I call it a rabbit hole and why there's more digging to do. I want to do some more research on the Steve Lawson fellow. I want to see what kind of record he has. I haven't had a chance to do that yet because I kind of wanted to get this video done, get this out there, get Crystal's face out there, especially since arrest has been made and they're, we may have an update to that anytime. So I wanted to make sure I got this portion pushed out. And then I may have I may not do a live stream on all the cases. I may just do a video, especially since my webcam doesn't want to work until I might have to figure something out on that. May just do videos on that because I do have another case coming up that I'm so sorry, excuse me. Another case coming up of a missing person that hasn't been found that the sister is going to be going live with me, and looks like that's going to be sometime next weekend. And we'll discuss that more. I'll kind of just briefly kind of let y'all know that I'm not going to try to do a live every single time. I'm going to try to keep my lives minimal. That way y'all can kind of go back and watch as you please, because it's hard to figure out good times to do lives with everybody. Some people are available on Fridays, some people are available on Saturday. I work Monday through Friday, so the weekends work better for me. But I will continue to dig into cases. I will continue to look at other cases of interest. I created a Facebook page as well. And if y'all are on Facebook, I'd appreciate if you hop on over, and I'll put that in there too. It's hang on here. I just created the Facebook page today, so I'll put the link to it in the description. Dan will be, I will be posting, I'll post their pictures, I'll post links to the videos on there as well. And I'll probably share maybe even ones that maybe I don't dig into too deeply. Post maybe some missing kids or missing people on there. I've also created an email address. Anybody that watches that has maybe not something that's not police worthy, like if you have information that you think I should share or update with the people, you can send me an email to that. It's unresolvedmysteries@gmail.com. I'll put that also in the chat. Hold on here. Let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put the first one I'm putting in for you guys that's Nick's interview. The next one is the look back on Nick's interview, and then I'll put the other one in here in a little bit when I'm ready, when I get done with that. Let me put the email in there. You guys, I'm trying to type it. guys. I'm going to have to type it in over here. This is the email. And you know, if you're watching, share the videos, share pictures, share whatever. Somebody knows something, you may share it, and the right person's going to see this and think, oh, wait a minute, I seen her, or I seen that, or I seen him, or you just never know who's going to see it that's going to know something that could be the break in the case. So I've got one more video that, like I said, I was supposed to screen share, but it didn't work. I'm going to complain about that all night. This is Joseph Lawson, very first man that was arrested. He's the one that they said drove her car. Oh, we gotta go through these commercials. Hold on.
And just into the WDRB newsroom.
Joseph Lawson, the first person arrested in connection to the death of Crystal Rogers, wants his bond lowered to $50,000. His bond was originally set at $500,000 back in September. In court filings today, Lawson claims he's not a danger to the public, would comply with any court orders if he posts bail, and would wear GPS monitoring on home incarceration. Lawson claims $500,000 bail is excessive and amounts to a denial of bail since he's not able to afford it. A judge will consider the request at a hearing next Friday. Lawson's father, Steve, or Brooks Houck, Rogers' boyfriend at the time of her 2015 disappearance, have also been charged with her death. Houck is being held on a $10 million bond, expected back in court in February.
And we do know that, Joseph's bond reduction was denied. They denied his reduction in his bond. $10 million, they say that, oh, that's kind of high. Well, when you kill people, that's what happens. You get an excessive bond. Sorry, I have to keep flipping. So I put all the links that I've got in the comments for you guys to check out. So is anybody that's watching, you have any questions? You have any comments? I mean, for that matter, do you have a case that is worth the attention that needs to be? I mean, any unsolved case needs attention and should be brought out there. Well, thank you, Michael. This is the second case that I'm covering. The first one was, it was a 26-year-old cold case, and if you want to watch that, it's a pretty interesting case too. I did that one because it was local. It was a local case here for us in our county. It happened here. So that's kind of why I did that one first. Then I started digging into this one, and I started finding all these links and finding all this information. Yeah, that's what I'm getting ready. Brought that up, Michael, and let me get to that. So, other cases of interest that I'm going to be looking into. That's why I said I wanted to look into that Steve Lawson fella a little bit more. The first unsolved case in Bardstown, many may not know, and I will cover her. I will do some research on her for you guys, and that will be one of the part of the series here. Lucinda Strange went missing, or she was murdered, and it's unsolved. November or March the 25th, 1990. Now we jump to 2008. Jim Duckett. I will be covering him as well. It's an interesting case. Also, unsolved murder in Bardstown, Kentucky. All these are Bardstown. I know. Hopefully, not making you feel too unsafe down there, Michael, but just happens to be this many unsolved cases there. No, January the 5th, 2012, Daniel Cahoe, unsolved. Murder and unsolved. And then this one happened in 2014. Kelly and Samantha Netherland were both murdered, mother and daughter. The daughter was 16. Murdered, bound, and killed in their home. And I'm going to dig into that one a little bit too. I really want to do some more research on this the Steve Lawson guy. Like, it's just strange to me. I mean, you got these unsolved. I don't know how he could have went under the radar that long. I'm not saying he did any of the others. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I find it strange that there's that many unsolved cases in one little small town. It's not a big town. There's no way there should be that many unsolved cases. Or you would think. I'm trying to remember how old, give me a second, Steve is. Because the son was 32. Yeah, the son was 32. When he went missing. I mean, when they arrested him. So, during Lucinda Strange, when she was murdered, there's no way, I mean, it's possible, but even if Joseph wouldn't have been involved in that one. There's just no way he would have, even if he was born, he would have only been 1 year old. 1 year old. Listen to me, 1 year old. 1 year old. But that still means that his dad probably was old enough to have children at the time. I'm trying to find his age. I seen it and then I forgot to write it down. And I intended on doing that because I wanted to do the math on it to see how old he would have been in 1990. Okay, he's 53. So let me see. So he would have been 20 years old in 1990, so it's not out of the question. It's definitely not out of the question. Yeah, I want to do some more research because I haven't seen anything on the Hawk brothers' parents. I want to do some research on them, those guys. Of course, there's no way it would have been either one of them definitely in the Lucinda Strange case. 2012 and 14 case, possibly. Yeah, they own a farm. I'm sure. I just don't know. I don't understand how somebody doesn't know something. Give me a second. Well, this map is not the. Hold on.
I believe all that was all pretty close together too.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to pull up the map because I couldn't get my. Look, I'm still learning some of the stuff, so you got to bear with me. As I get into this more, I'm going to learn more and more things to do and how to do more things. And I want to learn the Google Earth. I know I can put the pins in and map everything out, so I can kind of show everybody a little bit more. There's. Listen, I just started kind of digging into doing this, so like I said, I'm still learning some of the tips and tricks of this, and hopefully y'all just keep coming back, and hopefully each time I'll have something better and do something better. So Poplar Flats Road was one of the roads used. Give me a second here. I'm just trying to find. I know the address for the hawk farm was made public, and I had it wrote down in my notebook, and I didn't bring my notebook in here with me because I had everything saved on my computer. Okay, give me a second. I know I had the address to the Hawk family farm. And that is, of course, that is where Crystal was living with Brooks at the time. And from my understanding, that's pretty close to the Ballard farm as well. Let's see. And of course, when I want to find the address, I can't find it. It's one of those days. But like I said, the next one I'll be doing Jason's. Oh, thank you. So Pascal, Ballard Lane to all right. So I'm gonna turn you around here real quick. I can't. So Poplar Flat. Well, I said I was gonna turn you around. Poplar Flats Road is here. So that's where the Hawk family farm is located, or in that general area. The Bluegrass Parkway. I can't see it on here. Maybe I can see it better on this one. Trying to give y'all an idea. Okay, well, good grief, it popped out on me. Okay, so there's the farm. I said, oh, I'm going to work on learning how to do Google Earth. I'm just... So to kind of give you an overview. So, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong. Is Bluegrass Parkway the interstate there? I'm trying to figure out where.
Yeah, we traveled.
But that kind of gives you an idea. That's where the farm's located. Right there. I know the Ballard farm was within, like I said, a mile or less from that location. So they're like all really close together. And the Netherland, okay, the Bluegrass was the one between, okay, if y'all go back and look, it goes between Elizabethtown and Kentucky. Okay, I couldn't remember for sure. So when y'all go back to look at that map, you can kind of maybe see. And then when I go into doing the mother and daughter, the Netherland family, I'm going to kind of show that they are actually pretty close to that as well. So please stay tuned. Like I said, I'm not sure that I'll do a live on every one of them. I'll probably do some videos on some of them because I do have the upcoming live that will have someone that's currently missing. So I'll definitely will be covering that one live because the sister would like to come live, come on with me, which I guess I'll figure that out as we go. Hopefully I don't screw that one up, but I'll figure it out. I'll get it all set up. I've just got to figure out why my camera's not working and we'll be good to go. Other than that, I kept y'all for an hour, so I'm going to let you all get off here. I will try to maybe post, I'll figure out something. I may make a little short or something to notes, copy and paste the timeline or something. As always, well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. I want to keep doing these. These are going to be added to our adventures page of the variety of stuff that we do. These you'll probably see more just because you find one that's connected to this one that's connected to that one. But as always, make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Thumbs down if you didn't. Doesn't matter. Anything to help build the algorithm for YouTube. Comment, you know, the chat helps, but I think the comments too. If you have any questions or anything, if you leave them in the comments below, I will get to you and I will answer your questions. And I'll try to figure out how to share my slideshow with you guys. At some point, I'll mess with that probably tomorrow. So don't look for that to be on tonight. I'll definitely work on that tomorrow because it's already after 8 here. Uh, Other than that, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure if you share, you always use the hashtag. For this one, hashtag Crystal Rogers. Let's keep her name out there. Let's hope that you'll share it and the right person will see it and we'll finally get some answers. And stay tuned because I do know that Brooks goes to court in February. So I will definitely hop on and do a short, if nothing else, for an update to that one. If there's an update to Stephen or Joseph, I'll also hop on and do a quick short and give you all that update as well. Other than that, I hope y'all have a wonderful night. Happy New Year to everyone. And hopefully I'll see you all again the next time. Good night.